I'm gonna leave my mic for a second, okay? Oh, am I ready? Oh, never mind.
So this is the Doc Salem movie night, and we're doing Night of the Living Dead. George Romero.
Oh, hell yeah.
King of zombies.
Most inventor of zombies as we know them, actually.
Just a fun fact. George hated The Walking Dead.
Oh, I don't blame him.
No, he did. He came out publicly and said it. He said that's not how a zombie should be. Like, he hated The Walking Dead.
I know. He also it's so bad actually that he actually wanted to do a Night of the Living Dead TV series.
Yeah,
like way back in the day. This is before you had like explicit gore on TV, right? The only reason they could get away with The Walking Dead is because the forensics shows were showing lots of gore, but it was in a medical context. So ages later, he couldn't get another Living Dead TV series off the ground. Walking Dead becomes huge, and they asked him, like, would you like to come and direct an episode? And he was like, nah, I already kind of been there, done that.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah, he was offended.
Shit.
Yeah,
I never knew, like, he had, like, they asked him to go ahead and direct an episode. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, because, let's face it, they should have been cutting him a royalty check.
Absolutely.
There we go. There we are. The opening of Night of the Living Dead, which was originally titled Night of Anubis. And you got to admit, Night of the Living Dead's a much better title.
Yeah, definitely. It was supposed to be Night of Anubis?
No, this was before we became politically correct, so the title would actually be Night of the Living Impaired.
Yeah, well, they're dead. They're all messed up.
Definitely dead.
Yeah, this is basically where the apocalyptic horror genre in cinema really began. This was a blatant, and Romero was the first one to admit this. It's really a ripoff of Richard Matheson's novel I Am Legend, which
really?
Was about a planet that was overrun by vampires. Where about a disease that turned people into vampires, and there's only like one guy left, and he's trying to find the cure. Don't think of the Will Smith movie, because there's very little in common. And basically, Romero and his writing partner John Russo were thinking, okay, well, let's not make them vampires. Let's make them like just dead people. All right. Well, what do? Do they drink people's blood? Well, what would be worse than creatures, undead people that drink people's blood? And they decided cannibalism. And ever since, the voodoo zombie has fallen by the wayside. The voodoo zombie, of course, is basically just a slave, a organic robot that just does shit menial work.
That guy in the car with the glasses, he screamed, "Hey man, leave her alone."
Yeah.
He's that guy.
Yes. Well, he's that's Russ Streiner. He's one of the producers of the movie, actually.
I love low budget independent filmmaking because you get those little tidbits. We find out that one of the main characters was actually the key grip.
Oh yeah, and the writer, one of the co-writer, John Russo, plays the zombie that pops out of the closet at one point.
Omega Man was also another adaptation of I Am Legend.
Which one?
Omega Man.
Oh yeah. But you see, I could forgive that, and I love the Omega Man. It's one of my childhood favorites. I could forgive that because it's not called I Am Legend. It's called the Omega Man.
Yeah.
Only 656 says that Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price is the best adaptation of I Am Legend. I really dig. I'm a huge Vincent Price fan.
Me too.
And yeah, like there's nothing Vincent Price ever did that I didn't like. Even his bad movies, like I was down with him. And I seen the one he's talking about, and it was insane, dude. Like it was really good.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's a Italian movie actually, and a lot of the imagery from this is actually taken from that. But of course, when you compare the two, I mean, this is a benchmark moment in horror. This is one of the most. This is a game changer.
The part where the little girl's like eating her mother. Like that just freaked me the fuck out, dude. That was just craziness.
You couldn't do that. I mean, nobody had ever done anything even remotely like that in movies before. This was so taboo breaking in so many respects. This was revolutionary in so many respects. It's important to remember too, this was made in 1968, which was the most violent year in American history since the Civil War. You know, you had major riots, protests. I think
riots we're talking about, and and like you said, it was very revolutionary because this is like the first horror film where the hero was the black guy.
Yes.
And then what happens in the end? It's a jolt to the system, and it just shows. It really reflects the racial tensions at the time.
It really does. And you know what's interesting? Romero, like to the end, always maintained that he did not cast Duane Jones because he was black. He insisted that Duane Jones was cast because he was the best actor who auditioned for the part. And I believe him when he says that. And yet the fact that he's black in this movie completely changes the movie.
Yes.
Completely changes everything. When he gets spoiler alert, when he gets shot in the head at the end, you can't look at that scene and not think of a lynching.
There was a documentary called The American Nightmare. I don't know if you've seen it. It was
yes.
Yeah, and that's touches on that. Yeah.
This movie's been taken apart and deconstructed by academics. I think one of the reasons that Land of the Dead isn't as good as it might have been is because Romero started paying a little bit too much attention to the critics and especially the academics. And you can't deconstruct a movie like this, but at the same time, you have to look at it for what it was intended, and that is just a kick-ass drive-in horror movie.
This guy looks like a rapist.
They're coming to get you, Barbra.
Like, I'm coming to get you, Barbra.
Wait a second. This guy, Preston.
Yeah. He's even got black gloves on, dude. Like he's got.
I know. I bought a pair of those gloves because of this movie. Preston, that's up. Yeah. How many times have you seen this?
Once, and it was way, 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 way back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't.
I've seen this movie literally like hundreds of times, and I could, if I wanted to be really annoying, I could just like repeat all the dialogue.
Please, please don't do that.
The remake from 1990.
Yes, which was written by George Romero. And one of the things I liked about the 1990 remake of this is the fact that it assumed that you knew this movie.
Yeah,
and it subverted your expectations like in good ways. And it also played off the fact that, once again, spoiler alert, that Ben, even though he's the hero, even though he's like an awesome guy, and Mr. Cooper is an a-hole, Mr. Cooper is actually right and Ben is actually wrong. Ben ultimately gets everybody killed.
Yeah.
And the 1990 remake played with that in a very, very interesting way. Tony Todd's performance in that is absolutely magnificent.
What about Night of the Living Porn? Have you ever seen that one?
No, I have seen Erotic Nights of the Living Dead by Joe D'Amato.
They actually made that. It's too disgusting to watch, to be honest.
Oh, I've heard of it. I've heard of zombie porn. But the thing is there actually was an authentic zombie porno movie called Erotic Nights of the Living Dead by Joe D'Amato. And it's like, you got porn in my zombie movie. You got a zombie movie in my
what's creepy about this movie is that the zombies are fast and they can think. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, actually, he's the only really fast one, and that's because he's really fresh. That's why he's been the theory.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That dude, by the way, not Carl Hardman. I'm spazzing on his name right now, but anyway, it'll come to me in a minute. That guy who plays the first zombie would show up at conventions dressed up like that, and he actually made a movie called Flesh Eater, which he wrote and directed and starred in as that zombie.
No way. You serious?
Yes, and it's funny as shit. I think it's actually really entertaining.
You know what movie I found very entertaining, despite the connections associated with it. It kind of fits into the genre a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You ever seen Night of the Poltergeist or Night of the Chicken Dead?
Poltergeist? No, I have not seen Poltergeist.
It's a trauma film, and if you're not a trauma film, you're probably not going to like the film. I'm not the biggest trauma guy, but I like some of their films. But this is actually one of the wittier films, and it actually plays off a little bit of Night of the Living Dead, among other things. But it's actually kind of funny.
You see, now I got to go see Poltergeist.
That
sounds amazing.
I do butt plug. And Lloyd Kaufman in the thong. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a trauma guy because too many of the trauma movies are movies that are intended to be cult movies. And usually when a movie tries to be a cult movie, it isn't a cult movie.
It doesn't make the cut. Yeah.
Like when Machete came out, I was so disappointed because the trailer was fire. Right? The trailer was awesome, right? Because you'd had like the blaxploitation movies in the 70s, and that was kind of pretending like, what if there'd been a mexploitation film movement? And so the trailer for Machete was great, but the movie was just my heart just sunk because it was trying to be a bad movie, and movies that try to be bad movies just generally aren't entertaining.
Well, they turn out to be just bad movies.
Yeah. Yeah. And nobody wants to watch. What is a bad movie? A bad movie is a movie that's boring and not entertaining.
Yeah.
So you can watch a shit movie or like I said, I always say I got a shit tooth. I consider myself an expert in bad films. And, yeah, no. If it's entertaining, it's not a bad movie.
No, I get that. Hold on 1 second.
Even if it's through the sheer ineptitude of the person who made it, oh my god, I got a movie to recommend. It absolutely blew my mind. It's called The Killing of Satan. It's a.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
It is. It is. It is.
I've heard of it. Let us more about it. I think I've heard of that.
It's a Filipino horror movie from the 70s.
Dude, that thing is right out of like
Psycho.
The Book of the Dead, like Ash, where all the animals start talking on the wall and shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but also that shot is sort of is a nod to Hitchcock, who Romero was understandably a great admirer of. Total non sequitur. Romero. Yeah, can you tell I know a lot about this movie and I've been passionate about it like most of my life? Romero was a small time filmmaker in Pittsburgh. He was actually making TV commercials. And you can actually find some of those commercials on YouTube, and they're very interesting and they're really creative. And so he had this TV commercial business called, I think, The Latent Image. And so they were like, well, you know what? We should actually try and make an actual movie. And so they were thinking, well, what can we make on a really low budget that we know will actually like sell? And they realized horror. So Romero didn't really set out to be a horror director, but boy, did he ever end up being one of the all-time, grandmaster champions.
Well, Rob Zombie said the best way to learn how to make good film is to do commercials.
Or music videos.
He said that you learn so much of the technical shit whenever you're doing commercials.
Yep, TV commercials, music videos, so many.
You wouldn't believe it. Like Rob Zombie did a ton of commercials, dude. Like this is after he did his rock star thing and shit like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And like I said, we used to see
that the Resident Evil 2 commercial.
Oh yeah, directed by George Romero. Absolutely, Duane. Woo!
Boy, Olio here's got it going on, son.
Sorry, got to do it, man. Every time Duane shows up. Oh yeah, that's right. Where's my Duane Jones action figure?
I'll tell you what, while he's stepping away, we're going to take a small commercial break. And go ahead and do a couple of advertisements. Well, actually, let's do the card drawing real quick for the Mandy Summers sketch card. So we're doing 1 through 10. Let's see who the lucky guy is. A girl, a gal. It's number 10.
That's
so tripped out. All right.
That is kind of.
Okay, so that is all right.
Hey, no porn.
What's wrong with porn?
Scott Heister. It's one of my boys.
Congratulations. Congratulations. What's his name? Scott Heister.
Yeah.
Scott Heister, you are the lucky man.
You're the lucky guy. You got that Mandy Summers card, son. Okay, so real quick, let's do a couple of things here. So our good buddy here. I was a Matt film. He's got a pre-campaign going on.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes, the Street Champion Road Warrior Drake. And for those that don't know, I am in the running for the leading Hispanic voice in science fiction 2020. And
rock and roll.
That's and I am
damn.
What is it? Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a beautiful Black Shadow. She's the official spokeswoman for Road Warrior Drake.
Not to overstate the obvious, but the girl is thick.
Thick thighs save lives.
Hey man,
I'm digging it.
As Freddie said, fat bottom girls make the rock and world go around.
Much love to my thick women out there.
Hell yeah.
I'm down with that. Here we go. Let's watch you want to watch your video real quick?
Go
Check
for
it out.
Yes. So this is the pre-launch trailer for the graphic novel. You got to share the audio, I think. Yes, you were supposed to share audio. You are sabotaging my campaign. I feel.
He's doing it on purpose. He doesn't want any competition.
Yes, he's destroying me for 4 million.
No, it should be sharing audio. Oh wait, I get what's going on. All right, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not going through Chrome.
Yes.
If it doesn't go through Chrome, you can't hear it. That's the
crazy.
weirdest thing. Like, I don't get that.
My mic always worked on Firefox. Tonight it didn't, and I had to switch to Chrome.
Yeah. It's some weird
Browser
thing
issue.
like with StreamYards. Like all right, there we go. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. I was about to play the road trip trailer.
And you got to have the audio for those.
Yeah.
So I guess I should dub it, huh?
Yeah, do a voiceover. Oh, and also,
Whoa.
I'm sorry, we haven't been properly introduced. I'm Brian, and you are?
My name is Alberto Martinez. I am the CEO of Alas Man from the Comics. As you can tell, I am the writer, author, illustrator of Road Warrior Drake. Not only am I doing a graphic novel, but I do a lot of YouTube videos, as well as the talk show Road Warrior Drake Analysis, where Road Warrior Drake himself interviews a lot of content creators. He's had Manny Summers on his show. He's had Wyatt Holiday. He just had Shay Zombie and the Cyber Valkyrie the other day. So I'm looking for more new guests to put on the show. There we go.
I had to mute the audio because I didn't want to get a copyright strike. Like playing Metallica is probably a quick way to get one.
F you, Lars Ulrich.
I don't understand that, but if it means anything, my video hasn't been struck down yet. So
yeah, but.
I hear you.
Last night we had a problem with a video clip, a Grim Reaper video clip,
yes.
and it shut down the whole stream. So,
well, I like to think that the visual by itself is sufficient, and you can just put the sound in your head. You just create the sound, and the sound of the book hitting the screen. And there's Ardonna, a book that I backed, which should be coming to my house next week. But yeah, those are clips of the Street Champion Road Warrior Drake, the graphic novel. 160 plus pages, by the way.
How many pages?
About 160 plus.
Phew!
Yeah, it's an epic graphic novel. You get in a complete story.
How dare you put out a book that has more pages than mine?
I'm sorry,
Mr. Martinez.
I'm part of a hate campaign, so that's what I do.
Okay. All right,
so we're
man.
gonna do.
I'm getting a Destroyer Duck flashback in like a major way.
By the way, that's racist. So please don't call over a drink a duck.
Oh well, that's not racist. It's speciesist.
Well, either way, it's hateful. He used to be properly labeled as a citizen.
Okay, all right. I apologize for my microaggression. Sorry if anybody out there got triggered.
So we got Rockabilly Road Trip, and Rockabilly Road Trip is up. It's live, and we are 50% to our goal.
Sweet.
And
Hell
it's pretty badass. This is happening pretty quickly, which I like. So we had a recent update. Actually, you know what? Let's do the trailer, and then we'll go ahead and we'll go over to perks real quick, and then we'll get back to the movie.
I'm gonna run upstairs real quick and get some tea.
Go for it.
Who's the artist?
I am. I do all the art.
Good job.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. The old stuff, like the black and white stuff, was kind of rough, But the I think I finally like redefined my style enough to go ahead and This book is like one of Romero's zombies. Like it just won't die.
I can tell that the little inspiration by the Bride of Frankenstein there. By the way, Elsa Lancaster was a very hot woman.
What's that?
Elsa Lancaster, the girl who played the bride.
Yeah. Lady. Yeah, we created this back in 2006. And we put out 6 issues from 2006 to 2014 or somewhere up in there. And it was a very unfriendly market for the indie community back in 2006. Like you had to order these like insane amount of issues. Getting in Diamond was pretty much a pipe dream. And but we made it through a little bit. We got issues out whenever we could afford it. And now we're doing a brand new #1 in full color. And we're also offering a trade paperback full of all of the old issues presented in their black and white original format.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So we got the double deal here, and that's $30. You get physical copies of both the trade paperback. That's 155 pages in the trade and 22 pages in the full color #1. So that's over 200 pages. Well, close to 200 pages for $30. And then we got the digital tier, which I'm not a huge fan of digital, but I see the purpose of it, which is $10, and you get digital copies of both.
Okay.
The real deal is a digital copy of the trade paperback, but a physical copy of the brand new #1. And we got a blast from the past. And a blast from the past is we found a stockpile of the original 2006 printing of Rockabilly Road Trip #1.
Oh, sweet.
So we have a limited amount of those, and we're offering them to anybody who wants to back the book for $100 at a $100 tier. So you get that copy, you get physical copies of both of the other issues, and all of it comes signed by the artist. And for the first time ever, we're doing vinyl records.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, vinyl picture disc of the it'll have the Rockabilly Road Trip theme song, and it will feature Nikki and Patches from the series. It's 45, and it's going to be badass, highly collectible.
Good vinyl can easily I'll play a good CD any day of the week.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And there's just something about that scratchy shit.
I knew that.
But also, okay, so we got Art of the Deal, and that's so I do everything traditional now. So I got 22 pages to get rid of, but I'm only getting rid of 19. So it's $150 for a full page from Rockabilly Road Trip #1, and you get a physical copy of that issue plus a physical copy of the trade paperback. And then we got this is another new tier. We got I collect vinyl. So you get a physical copy of the trade paperback, a physical copy of the brand new #1, and you get the vinyl picture disc for $150. And we got this. You covered. Okay, so this one, it's the cover to the trade paperback, the physical cover, and we're also giving you the trade paperback physical copy, also a physical copy of the brand new #1. And the iTunes special. So we released the Rockabilly Road Trip theme song on iTunes, and the artwork for that is a fully painted piece by me. So we're getting rid of the art, plus you get a physical copy of both the newest #1 issue and the trade paperback. And all of this is for you guys to look over. And we'll play.
I love the art. I really do.
Oh, thank you, dude. Awesome.
It's amazing. It really is.
And that's the Devil Driver. And the next time we take a commercial break, we'll go ahead and play the live action trailer to Rockabilly Road Trip. And you guys get
I see that. Yes, I like. That's an awesome trailer.
Yeah,
Isn't it great?
We're trying to shop it around. And like,
I've seen some really imaginative trailers, so you guys are kicking ass.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. See, I knew, Preston, I knew this was going to be a hit. It's like, what, 4 days in your campaign and you're already like 50% of your...
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's happening pretty quickly. And I like that because the last campaign was a nail biter. You know
I know.
what I'm saying?
I know.
Like,
I know.
crazy,
I know. I'm still pissed off at the CG community a little bit.
No, I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'm going, it's not their fault. It's just, bad timing and it's too high of a goal. So hopefully this time it'll go over better, like a lot better.
You wait and see, brother. You wait and see. I guarantee you that's going to be a smash.
The thing about we'll talk about it when we bring it back up. Yeah. So that's the hero of the movie right there, right?
Yep. Duane Ben, played by Duane Jones, who went on to do only one movie that I'm aware of after this, which was a vampire film, an art house vampire film called Ganja and Hess. Yeah. I highly, highly, highly recommend hunting that down. It basically was edited, like cut to crap, and just called Black Vampire. And and it's an art film, mind you. It's a freaking art
like
film.
A racist film is what it's.
What's up, Drew? Well, I mean, there had already been Blackula.
What's up, guys?
Which is what's up, Drew? Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, but Blackula was meant to be a pun. It wasn't supposed to be like anything serious. It's just that the actor took it seriously.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what makes it so good. That's what makes it so good. Honest to God. There's a direct line between Blackula and Six Gun Gorilla. I never intended this, but one of the things that I've discovered in my writing, like all my projects, they're all about taking a wacky premise and then playing it straight. Because I think when you do that, it's more fun.
Oh, absolutely.
I placed Blackula in my top 5 vampire films.
Oh, Prince Mamawaldi, man.
Yeah.
I actually saw a guy dressed as Blackula on Halloween once. And I went up to him and I bowed to him and said, Prince Mamawaldi.
Yeah.
And he was like, I see you know your horror movies, my brother. Yeah, he was great. William Marshall, who was also the king of cartoons.
Yes,
on Pee-wee's Playhouse. But yeah, no, Duane Jones was only in, like I said, his only other movie was Ganja and Hess, and then he became a acting teacher in New York City. And he was notorious for never, ever, ever doing interviews about this movie and never talking about this movie.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
I don't know.
Bad blood or something like that? Or
I don't know. I honestly don't know. He said he was in, there's one audio interview with him where he talks about it. And he said he was in a diner in New York City with a bunch of his students, right? They were getting dinner after class. And suddenly they were like looking over his shoulder and their eyes were going wide and they were looking at him. And he turns around and he sees this playing on the TV. And the students had no idea that he'd actually ever been in a movie, much less a classic.
Get out.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd be shouting that shit from the treetops, huh?
Right? And hitting the conventions. I mean, the man's a freaking legend just for this. And in my opinion, very easily the king of the zombie slayers.
Yeah.
Best zombie slayer ever. That's John Russo, the co-writer.
That's better. Let me get my headphones on.
What's up, Easy?
Hey, I got something in the mail today, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Is it okay? No scuffs, I hope?
No, the Gemini mailer took some hits, but the book was fine.
Excellent.
Yeah, I wish I could do Gemini mailers, but I couldn't mail anything bigger than the book.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a floppy pack, which is to say that that's one of my tiers where I'll throw in like the 6 issues or 5 issues of the floppies,
Right.
which are like convention leftovers with the book, and it accommodates that. So
Yeah, but I mean, like I have the 9-pack of trading cards. They don't fit.
Oh yeah,
They don't fit in a Gemini mailer. So
interesting.
Yeah, that's why
That's
I have to do the
unfortunate.
way I do. But it's like it's like whatever. Because
Whatever works, whatever. Look at the way Vinny mails his stuff, man.
yeah,
Vinny, does he use Gemini mailers? Or do they-
No,
not yet.
no.
He might change up, but he hasn't yet.
Oh, scariest shot in the movie right here. Preston, I'm sorry. Could you back that up for a second? If it's not a bother.
No, it's not.
Okay, because this is really okay. Ben hits the zombie in the face as he's coming through the door. Now, as the zombie falls back, the shot widens, and you see the zombies coming in behind him.
Yeah.
And now the situation has gotten tenfold worse. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, holy crap.
Yeah, it's
That's
bad.
just one madman. That's awesome.
And the zombies, of course, the George Romero zombie, not fast, not smart, not strong, but there's just so many of them.
Yeah. Holy shit, it's still alive.
Well, it's moving its eyes. Or she's just imagining that its eyes are moving, or it's like a reflex.
Or the actor screwed up and they were like, fuck it, keep it.
No, I think that was on purpose because it's a very creepy moment.
This book is beautiful, man. I haven't had a chance to flip through it till just now because I mean, it seriously just got here.
Thanks, brother. Thanks. I hope you get a kick out of it. And give me your honest opinion, too. I have, like, no ego when it comes to my work. To me, it's like something that's outside of me. So you can snap on it all you want, and I'll just, like, listen with an open ear. I won't take it personally.
Yeah, I'm not much for critiquing art that way. I look at art as something that's subjective. Writing, music, everything. I mean, as long as it doesn't suck, it's good art. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, people seem to like it, so everybody seems to like it. Everybody seems to get a kick out of it. So I've been really, really fortunate.
Well, then I just got to give you a shitty review that everybody else likes it.
There you go.
I can't jump on the bandwagon. Fuck that.
Well, I got one negative review, and the guy was like, "I don't like westerns." And the other review that I got was a tepid one from comic book resources, CBR.com. Because I was hitting this guy up, I was hitting him up. Would you be into reviewing my book? And the only way I could get them to review my book was sending them quotes from all the other reviews and critics. Mm. So the guy who reviewed it, his review was, well, it's not that great. It's not that good. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not that great.
I mean, I'm not a fan of westerns, but I know a good story when I see one. And
it's a western with a gorilla.
By the way, I've read Dusty Tortillas. It's an excellent book. If you back that book, you're gonna be surprised.
No. Dusty Tortillas? Who's that? Yep.
That's by Brendan Kemp and Steven, the Kemp brothers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just started fulfillment, so
I'm not even aware of that campaign.
Yeah,
I just heard about it a couple of days ago, and it was just in casual conversation.
Dusty Tortillas.
No, I'm tripping out because I thought Dusty Tortillas didn't get funded.
No, it got funded, and the complete book. They just sent it up to the printer, so it's going to start filming soon. I actually I got to read a digital profile of it. It is a good book. Yeah, I think you'll be surprised by it.
Well, it looked like it'd be a good book. I just thought that they had trouble getting funded, so they canceled their campaign.
Yeah, initially there was an issue with the artists, and they had to replace artists, and then they ran the campaign again, and then they successfully funded it. So
good for them.
I must have missed it the second time around.
Part of the Latino invasion of Indiegogo and CG.
Because that was one of the ones that I backed. That was like one of the first ones that had to refund me. You know what I mean? It's like I was like, oh, that's.
Oh, maybe they relaunched.
Yeah, they must have, and I didn't get noticed. I didn't get a notice.
Because just that title is already kind of, piqued my interest. Can you tell us, Mr. Martinez? Can you tell us what genre it is in?
Road Warrior Drake?
No, Dusty Tortillas.
It was a Western.
Oh, okay.
Because I made the point that I'm not a fan of Westerns, but I did enjoy that book. I also enjoyed like the Man with No Name trilogy.
Oh.
So I'm able to enjoy a good story despite its genre.
If you like the Sergio Leone movies, you'll like Six Gun Gorilla.
Oh, I love the title. I love the title, so I'm gonna put that on my list of books to back because I haven't backed books in a while. So I have The Gods Fear Me on my radar. I got Captain Love. That's on my radar. Yes,
Sweet.
That's an excellent book.
Bad Magic Cop also on my radar, and then I want to put this one down. Six Gun Gorilla, definitely.
Six Gun Gorilla. This one here, this book is a big fat book.
I love it.
It is thick. It is. How many pages is it, Brian?
It's thick, right, Brian?
It's 148 pages.
Well, as we determined earlier in the video, we love thick.
We love thick.
Now,
Yes.
it's like the 148 pages. Yes. Is that a trade paperback or is it?
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's perfect bound, but it's a big book. I would have thought it was more than 148 pages, as thick as it is.
Yeah, I've never had anything but good experiences with that printer. Fuck it, I'll throw their name out there. Greco.
Yeah,
I like Greco actually,
and
Greco
they're easy to get on the phone.
Like I'm good with both of them.
Yeah.
And they always produce like really high quality work, and there's no minimum order, and the prices are extremely good.
They are, and what I love especially about Greco, they're super easy to get on the phone or via email. You shoot them an email, you get a response quick. You shoot them a phone call, they pick up.
You were right about one thing. You did tell me ahead of time. No odor.
Right? That's the only thing that's disappointing. There's no. I'm gonna have to I don't know.
Well, that's because it's not newsprint. Like if there was,
mine's not newsprint. Mine's not newsprint, and it has an odor. It has the ink odor.
It does. Yeah, it's very sniffable. It's very sniffable.
I'm gonna have to take another look at it.
You need to take a sniff at it. Is what you need to do.
Take a sniff at it. I actually want to do newsprint. I think newsprint's awesome.
I'd love to do newsprint too.
Yeah. It's just
I have a newsprint concept that I want to do, but it's a one-off book that I've been wanting to do for a long time. But it's like one of those things where it's historical. You know what I mean? So like so many things have to be 100% accurate that it seems like a nightmare to get into without funds up front, a lot of funds up front. Because it's going to be set in like the early 1900s, like 1917, 1920 time period.
Oh, nice. Set where during that time?
All over the U.S., mostly Midwest, but all over the U.S. It's a bank robbery story.
And still technically the Old West at that time.
Still technically, the cars are coming out, but they're just coming out, so they're rare. So still a lot of horse and buggies, a lot of horses, a lot of guns that are still like
early automatics,
the machine guns exist, but they're again few and far between. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's not quite Bonnie and Clyde. You know what I mean? But it's still kind of like a little of that feel. You know what I mean?
It's an interesting era. It's a very interesting era because, of course, it's the very end of the Old West, or what we refer to as the Old West.
Right. It's kind of I picked that era for that because it's the transition. It's a transition time, and then this whole story is kind of like a a series of like transition of society. It's actually like, you know, it's a story of a mother and her 4 boys, you know, and they turn to bank robbery because the father dies and a whole bunch of stuff goes wrong, and the police start coming after one of the kids because he kills somebody. You know what I mean? It's just
Pinkertons, maybe. Any Pinkertons?
No, it's not based on the Pinkertons or the Newtons. It's
Right. But no, that sounds great. That sounds fantastic. I think that's one of the things that I love about CG is there's such diversity of product, there's diversity of genre.
Well, yeah. I wrote it to be. I initially wrote the story to be loosely to, you know. I initially wrote it for a movie script. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then I tweaked it into a graphic novel. The problem is that, like, the story in graphic novel format is like somewhere around like 300 pages. You know what I mean? So it's like I really, you know, I really have to have like money in place to pull that off, because there's just no way that, you know, because I have to have the right artist. I mean, somebody who. Oh
yeah. Yeah, you need somebody that has like the right style. Like Narwhal would be really good for that.
He would be, and he might, you know. But I here's the thing: is like I know who Narwhal is. I don't even think Narwhal knows who I am, dude. Which is funny, you know what I mean? But I think he has no idea who I am or who Captain Love is, or, you know, at all, because it's, you know.
But here's the thing: he's a freelancer. You know, if the schedule is open and you're willing to pay, and he's interested in the project, his book looks like fire, by the way. Looks, and the animated trailer.
I've seen his Naked Samurai. Like, he showed that off a little bit, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. What is the name of Narwhal's? Let me see, because I'm following that because
Foreign Agent. You mean? His no?
Yes.
Foreign Agent.
Yeah. Like, it has a real mood and a style and a humanity to it that I think is really interesting.
Directed the movie.
Oh, Judith O'Dea is getting hot.
It's hot in here.
It's so very, very hot in here. I might have too many clothes on.
It's late, I tell you.
You don't mind if I undo this top I'm wearing slowly, erotically?
Now look at this. This is the Duane Jones Mego style action figure. Now it's cool. It has like actual like cloth clothing and everything. The likeness is pretty much perfect. But you know what these MFers did?
They undressed him and
no, they didn't put a tire iron or a Winchester repeating rifle in the package with them.
Did they make him anatomically correct? Or
this isn't towards you guys. This is towards what's his face? Marty what's his face? Oh, Marty Abrams, the Mego guy. F you for not like hooking my boy up with a tire iron or a Winnie.
Did I give him a Woody at least?
No, not that I haven't. You know what? I haven't taken his pants off yet.
What? I think the first thing you did, Brian. Come on.
well, you are talking to the guy that used to give his Mr. Spock doll perfume baths when he was a little boy.
Ah, that's just too funny.
I said that to a friend at a store, and the girl that was working there was like, "Wait a second, you used to do what?" I had to explain the whole thing to her.
Well, I used to shoot my He-Man and Barbie together when I was 8 years old.
I beat up my sister's first date. She had to bring me along on her first date to the movies.
Oh, poor girl.
And I beat up her date with my Captain Kirk doll.
Total non sequitur, but it's just too cool to not mention. You know, there are guys who do custom action figures.
Yeah,
and some of them are really, really, really creative. One guy did an action figure of the Shape, Michael Myers from Halloween. And the Michael Myers mask is a Captain Kirk mask that's just been spray painted white.
Right.
So you know what the sick bastard
it's
did?
it's a William Shatner mask. I thought specifically.
Yes,
I didn't think it was Captain Kirk. I thought it was
it's a Captain Kirk mask.
Was it a Captain Kirk or was it a William Shatner mask? Because both masks existed at the time.
Yes, it's a Captain Kirk mask.
Okay.
So you know what this guy did? Sick bastard. He took the Mego Captain Kirk action figure and took a mold of its head and made the mask from that. That's going the extra mile in like a scary way.
Yeah.
So it's like his custom Michael Myers action figure has is wearing a mask that's like taken from a mold of the William Shatner doll.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's commitment right there.
You want to talk commitment? To mess with my sister's head when I was a small child. Not small child, I guess smaller child. I think that's about maybe 10 or 11.
I'm still a small child.
Yeah.
I skinned the maturity of a 15-year-old.
I skinned the rubber face off of Ken.
Off of Ken?
My sister's Ken doll.
You know what? Ken is so like perfect and handsome looking. He deserves to be disfigured. And then we'll see if Barbie still hangs around him.
Yeah. And then
love it for real.
And then I attached it to Barbie's face like she was Leatherface.
Nice one.
Yeah, I got in trouble for that.
Oh, man, I can imagine.
Was it worth it? It's totally worth it.
It was. I think I couldn't stop laughing the whole time I did it. I think I was just all giggles the entire time.
I'm still kicking myself in the ass for letting my big brother blow up all of my G.I. Joe dolls. These are like the big, like the 12-inchers with Kung Fu Grip and Eagle Eye G.I. Joe.
The one that you had to look through the back and had a little.
No. That was the that was a $6 million man doll.
Oh, that's right.
Eagle Eye G.I. Joe was really ridiculous because he had a little switch in the back of his head, and all it did was make his eyes go like this, look side to side, so it just made him look shifty. That's it, funny. Duane. Torch that chair. Torch that easy boy. We can't hear it, but all the music in this is actually public domain music, like canned music. Romero did that with most of his early films, actually. There's even the Cannes Film Festival print of Dawn of the Dead has canned music.
Huh. Interesting. Commercial break.
What do we plug? What do we plug this time?
We're going to plug. Okay, so two things. Let me get it up real quick. All right.
That's what she said to you.
Yeah.
Oh, Kazing! You got 1 million of them. Is this thing on? I'm eating a burrito, by the way. I hope that's not too obnoxious.
Absolutely
Only when you talk with the food in your mouth.
Right.
So Doc Salem is back.
Woohoo!
Bum bum bum.
Dun, dun, dun. And
Hell
here's
yeah.
the movie, the video.
Did you get your sound on?
I'm so psyched for this.
Yeah. Would you share with the sound?
It is. It's on. I don't. What the hell's going on?
Did you click the sound button?
Yeah.
When you shared your screen?
Absolutely. Do you hear music whenever I play it? No?
Yeah, it might be another browser thing.
No, if you share the screen when you select the tab, the Chrome tab or whatever.
Yeah.
You select that little checkbox that says for include audio.
No, I did. That's why you're able to hear the music. I mean the movie. Yeah.
I wasn't able to hear the movie.
I wasn't able to hear the movie either.
What?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Surprise, Preston.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me check this out.
Maybe you forgot to click the checkbox.
No, I did. I checked it. Yeah.
I hear you.
Here. That is so crazy, dude.
Yeah, as much as I'm looking forward to getting a Rockabilly Road Trip, I have to admit, Doc Salem is where my heart is really at. I'm a sucker for anything Frankenstein, and this is just such an interesting idea.
Holy shit!
Ever done this
can't
before?
Believe that. That is crazy, dude. Okay, let's try it again.
Nothing to lose.
Let me turn off the screen. Holy crap, dude. All right, here we go.
So this whole time you could hear the audio from the movie.
Yeah, I thought everybody could because
No.
I clicked the box. I don't know what the hell's going on with this fucking thing. All right, let's see here. Let me know if you can hear it.
You got it.
Hello.
We hear it.
Sweet. Italian Comics cover artists and contributing artists on handout presents Golden Age Revival titles. Jungle Comics.
Oh, this is the one that you can't hear. I'm sorry.
I can hear the music, but for some reason,
your audio is dropped. Is real quiet on that.
Yeah.
I keep getting confused which one it is. It's this one. Yeah. Do you still have that video?
I'll tell you what. That's Forgotas, and we'll go ahead and do Rockabilly Road Trip again because I'm actually offering something new with Rockabilly besides the I kind of dig this drawing thing. You know, like the what we did with the Mandy Summers card. So what I think I'm going to do next is once we hit I think 40 to 45 backers, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away this Hellbilly painting I did back in the day.
Oh,
nice.
And that's 11 by 17, so it's going to cost me a little bit for shipping, but I think it'll be cool to get. Well, like if you got any tier above digital, you'll go ahead and you'll be eligible to get it.
Can I ask you real quick, what medium did you use for this?
That's mixed medium. That's so what I did was I used oils for the background and then went over it with acrylics. And,
that is sweet.
Look at it.
So
yeah, I'm really digging that. I'm going to advertise it on Twitter too and shit like that. But get a closer look at it.
So are you going to offer this like as a tier, or is this going to go?
No, I think this is going to be a raffle. Like just go ahead and like kind of as soon as we hit 45 backers, I'm going to go ahead and offer this as it's going to be just another number randomizer. And
man, I'm not getting.
That's the person that gets it.
I'm not getting Pizzade until like 2 weeks from now.
Oh, this is from 2014. Okay, yeah. So
wow.
It's when I was not so good at painting, I guess.
Yeah, whatever.
What you should do is you should we should do it two ways, right? Like is this is you're going to do a print of it that you're going to sell, right? You're not going to do the original art.
Absolutely not. No prints of this. Like
no, so it's the original art is what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. So do a stretch goal with the original art with the cost of shipping in it. Okay. And then do a comic sized like back page style print of it that goes with the book as a stretch goal. So you're advertising it as the original art for sale, right?
Yeah.
As part of the thing, but then you have the comic book sized, so you can ship it with your books.
Who was I talking? I was talking to you guys, wasn't I? Like about the Akira cover.
Yeah,
the variant cover. Yeah.
I want to introduce that, but I'm waiting. You know what I'm saying? Like just long enough to wait. But I just like the idea of giving shit away.
I like it too. True. I understand where you're coming from. You're thinking fiscally. You're using your noodle, but this is one of those things where it's like my noodle is with you, but my heart is with Preston. This is something that if you include it as if you raffle it off, if one lucky backer gets this, an original piece of art, original one-of-a-kind piece of art, I think that's just beautiful.
Yeah, at the same time, he could add $500 to his campaign as a tier.
I know.
You can. I see what you're saying, but
I'm not saying you're wrong.
I I think it'll be an incentive to have people go ahead and share the campaign more and get more people on board, because they want to get to that 45 backer thing, because that almost doubles my backers. You see what I'm saying? So that exceeds the goal by a couple of $100.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know how many people get excited at the raffle point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's so you'd be kind of be gambling on that.
But it's
you know
so
what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. But I'm also let's keep in mind I got a bunch of stuff too. Like I still got the Akira cover to go ahead and offer as a stretch goal and and stuff like that. So
Well,
I wasn't planning on doing any alternate covers on this. Like
my thought process is that you want to maximize the dollars that go into this campaign for every reason possible. You know what I mean? And Brian's all sighing at me, but
I can't help it. I'm a romantic.
But the success of the campaign overall, not just
absolutely. Well, I'm on board with that. But this is the problem with this piece of artwork. This piece of artwork is seriously dated.
Right. And you're not trying to hide that fact. You're not saying it's a new piece of artwork. You're saying you can identify it as part of the stretch goal. You know what I mean? As just identify it, and then you use the artwork itself to pitch the whole thing. And then like I mean not a stretch goal, as the tier, and then as you can announce a stretch goal with it as a comic sized print, which everybody can be excited about, and then they push for the stretch goal so they can have it as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's not just one person.
I get
it's just not one person gets to enjoy it. Everybody who backs your book gets to enjoy this artwork, and then one person who really loves it gets to get
well,
first one to buy it.
How's this? How about once we get to like 45 backers, everybody gets a copy, like a small copy of a print of it that's included with the book.
If you want to say 45 backers, you could round that off to 50 backers.
You know what 50 backers.
You can make that 100 backers. You can make it a stretch goal when you reach $5,000. You can make it a stretch goal when you reach $3,000. Like, because you can make it a stretch goal when you reach your funding goal. When you reach your funding goal of $2,500, you can throw it in there. You know what I mean? I would say attach it. I would say that the free stuff attached to a money point. The stretch goal stuff attached to a money point, because obviously you can factor in what it's going to cost to create it that way. And then with something that's original art like this, people want to buy original art. And then here's the thing. The person who wants it the most will be the first one to get it. So here's the thing. You show it off for a while and before you make the stretch goal live. Right. So you tell everybody, hey, this is going to be coming out. So you hype up your campaign with it. We're going to be giving away this. We're going to let you guys have it. It's going to be like this. We're going to do it on a live stream. I'm going to let it go. First one to get it gets it. You know what I mean? And then you do it during a live stream after it's been hyped up for like almost a week. You know what I mean? You do it during a live stream. You drop it as a stretch goal. During that live stream, it sells because whoever wanted it is going. And you tell them it's 11 by 17.
Do you think
you could auction it?
Once we hit 50 backers, like put it out there as a stretch goal, as far as like, put it out for maybe $300, $200, something like that as
a campaign perk. I would say put it out as a campaign perk, hype it up so that like okay. So for instance, when you were launching your book, you had Adam, Peter, and me all racing to the first backer point. You know what I mean? So like you announce this for a while, hype it up that you're going to put a stretch goal. Right.
Okay. I see what you're saying. I think that's a good idea. Actually,
and if you did something like this every couple of weeks, like if you see that your numbers are starting to drag a little bit, come out with a new piece of original art to I
would say do it every week. You know what I mean? Just keep the hype up and say it's like, this is what we're gonna do. This is this. We're gonna pull up this. Maybe it's not a piece of art. Maybe it's something else. Like
no. I like the piece of art thing because that's easy to create. Like I can do a sketch card or something like that. Just fully paint a sketch card. Take a few.
Right, how sketch cards, whatever, something.
Yeah, because sketch cards are easy to mail.
Right.
They are.
Like I can include them with anything, and my sketch cards are extremely, like, here's something that I did for Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Right.
Oh,
that's
nice.
a card.
I gotta show you something. Well, you got give me a sec. I'm gonna find some of the stuff that my friend Wes did. He did a bunch of sketch cards on postcards and would just mail them.
Yeah.
And generally speaking, they made it through the U.S. Postal Office like relatively intact.
So anyway, that's
my
road trip.
That's my advice. What you do with that is definitely hype it up. Like I would say, start hyping up tomorrow.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And then like a week from tomorrow, so like or even a week from tonight, start hyping tomorrow, and then like so maybe next Tuesday or Wednesday, whoever's doing a stream that you can get on. You know what I mean. So don't do it on your own stream. My stream's small. You know what I mean? So like, find another stream. Maybe Vinny might be interested in helping out. Maybe Red, Gaze, somebody. No. And, announce that you're going to release it on a live stream. Yeah. You know what I mean? Make this the unhide. You build the perk and just unhide it during the stream. You know what I mean? And you'll say, you can even count down to the unhiding it. So like everybody's all geared up, and the first one to get it will get it. And let me tell you, you'll sell it right away if you put that hype up ahead of time for a whole week. It's a beautiful piece. It's original. It's original art. It's you know what I mean. You will sell that like $300 right there on your campaign. Boom,
easily.
Okay. No,
I mean, I think you could probably even get $500, but you know what I mean. But it's really on you.
Maybe you can auction it.
Why not? Try 350 or something like that. Like
it's really, the numbers are up to you. I'm saying you could probably get 500 for it. I'm saying the numbers are up to you. Yeah. Auctioning also has the downside of timing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you need to get a lot of people in a stream to go ahead and do it.
Right. Exactly.
Well, there's the one that is it Ethan that does the auction.
Once in a while he does. Yeah.
People looking at it, on his stream at the time, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. What I would say that the best bet is to
0 people watching right now.
Yeah. The best bet is to hype it up for a while, and then once people are aware that it's going to happen, drop the perk on a live stream, and then somebody has going to have decided that they want it at that point. So the person who wants it most will get it.
Here's another perk we were thinking about offering, because we're going to start doing the Rockabilly Road Trip webisodes.
Yeah,
and we were thinking about making a perk to go ahead and fly somebody out here to go ahead and be part of the part of a webisode. But they're basically buying their own plane ticket out, basically. Yeah, pretty much. Well, it would be included in the perk or something.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's like the perk is basically, because the cost of a plane ticket is going to change. You know what I mean?
Oh, so that's true too. Yeah, we'd have to get it ahead of time.
You have to get it way ahead of time, and
we got a year to go ahead and wait to that stuff starts.
All right.
So these are going to be live action webisodes.
Yeah, that's why we're going to utilize the car.
Hell yeah!
Hell, I might even be playing Nicky. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Here, I'll show you my.
You'd be a good Nick. You'd be a good Nicky the Pipe, I think.
Well, this is me with the Nicky hat on. Let's see here.
And are you getting this same actress back for Patches?
No, that's a done deal. We can't. She's too big for us now.
Oh.
She's way too big for us.
What a cutie pie.
Yeah, she's way out of our league at this point. Once you get on the purge and shit like that, it's done. Yeah. She was a regular on Ellen for the longest time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, sold. Sold. I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, you'd be perfect, I think. And also, you have a good radio voice, so I don't see why you wouldn't be a decent actor.
I don't have a good radio voice.
No, you do. You just don't think you do because everybody hates the sound of that.
And that's our silent partner, the car builder.
Oh yeah. Praise hail him.
Yeah. So because we still have all of the props from the filming.
That's
we have
so
our
cool.
wig, we have the arm gauntlets, we have that slot machine, all that shit. Yeah.
You know what? It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt if you when you get physical copies of the book for sale, that you take those and the Devil Driver to every freaking car show that comes around in your.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, I didn't think of that either. Drew, you're a genius. Seriously, no, that is an idea.
You will sell the shit out of books at car shows, man.
No, we already thought of that. We're like, the investment that we have in a car, we're going to utilize that bitch all we can. You know what I'm saying? Like we're talking, we're going to make a public spectacle of this car, and
hell yeah,
the people playing the characters.
Well, because I can imagine people like walking up and saying, "This thing is so awesome, dude!" You're like, "Yeah, well, check it out, man. There's a comic book for it." You're like, "Really?" Yeah. And there's like, "How much is this?" And you just like, you have, you're like, "Well, price is right there on it." You know what I mean? You know, it's like, there you go.
Can you imagine? Now we hear it. Ah, fire bad.
Fire bad. Yeah. No. We were planning on doing that, like utilizing it as much as possible. Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine all these people filing into a convention and that's parked outside?
Outside.
Outside.
It's gonna be inside.
Oh, okay. Well, like with like the rest of the classic cars,
well, usually
like the Monster-mobile and all that shit. Yeah.
Well, usually what it'll be the Devil Driver. Then we'll have right next to that maybe the car from Back to the Future, and then the Ecto-1. You know, maybe Baby from Supernatural.
Monster-mobile.
Like
the Mystery Machine.
No, because at every show, these are the cars that show up. You know, and usually you got Bumblebee from Transformers because that's an easy out right there. You know what I'm saying?
The one that I see like pretty regularly now is the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine.
Yeah, that one too. Yeah, that and the Ninja Turtles. Like they have all these fan groups out there that built these cars and they just tore them around. Yeah.
My favorite one my favorite one that caught me by surprise I didn't expect to see was Speed Buggy.
Oh really?
Yeah, from Cross Superstars, Speed Buggy.
Yeah. You know which one surprised me? The Monkey Mobile. The freaking Monkey Mobile, like next to the Monster Mobile. That was like very incongruous. But yeah, no, I remember like I was there setting up my table when they were moving the cars in, and when the Monster Mobile came in, I was just inhaling those exhaust fumes. I was like, sacred exhaust fumes.
You know what?
I'm friends with the people who do the Doctor Who fan groups too, and they have the TARDIS, you know, and all that kind of shit.
That's
so
cool.
I think it'll be cool to have webisodes that include all of this stuff. You know, I don't know if we're getting into a copyright infringement type of situation, or you know, but you know, I mean, if it's parody, I don't think there'll be any problems with it. You know,
parody is protected.
I was also impressed by the guy that made the what do you call it? I can't think of the name of the certain kind of vehicle it is, but it's the chauffeur pedaled cars. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The ones that they did on Gilligan's Island out of bamboo.
Oh
yeah.
You know how long it's been since I've seen Gilligan's Island? Jesus Christ, dude, that's insane.
There's the Winnie.
That used to be my favorite show.
Hear a tale of a faithful troop. You're gonna love that one.
And of course, I'm sure you're all very familiar with the Rifleman with Chuck Connors, in which he was
right now, like the General Lee.
Yeah.
Like down here, that car can't be toured. You know what I'm saying? Because of the
because of the Confederate flag.
Because they had a big issue down here about the statues in Louisiana,
right?
And they had each one of those statues yanked out.
I have mixed feelings about that. Yeah. Very mixed feelings, because it's like on the one hand, it's like you're defacing art. You know, on the other hand, I understand why it pisses people off, why people get offended. I definitely have an issue, you know, with, you know, flying the Confederate flag at a federal building. That's like, what the hell are you guys doing?
Well, it's not an actual flag. I mean, it's not relevant anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason to have it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's like, wait, didn't we fight a war over this?
Exactly.
Wasn't that lost?
You guys lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
The problem is like there's a whole large degree of people that were born after that era. Yeah. You know what I mean? That feel unattached to that era, but they feel attached to the flag for different reasons.
Yeah.
And they'll use anything. They'll say it's our heritage and all that kind of stuff. And what it is, it's really a culture that, you know, it's a culture element that they've identified with as a rebel flag.
Yeah.
And it's their rebellion, their way of being the rebel is having that flag to represent them.
No,
and I understand that. Yeah. And I understand that.
That's what people.
But it's a childish thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not It's extremely childish.
And
Well,
you know,
you're asking people with low IQ to understand something deep. Okay, it's just not going to happen.
Dude,
Okay,
I spent 7 years in Mississippi as a kid. Trust me, I know, I know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
in Germany, where they don't have the First Amendment,
these idiots thought I was African American. You know what I'm saying?
you mean you're not?
well,
Very
Preston,
light skin.
Preston, you're what? Native American and a Hispanic?
No, I'm like the name Azevedo, the way it's spelled is Brazilian, right?
Oh,
But,
really? Interesting.
Yeah. Now, on my dad's side, I've got Native American in me, and I think that's where the Brazilian part. That's obviously where it does come from. My grandmother was full-blooded Italian, you know, but she married a Norwegian. So her kids were half Norwegian, and he was full-blooded Norwegian. You know, he was a huge motherfucker. Like my grandfather was,
like a Viking.
Yeah, he was.
Well, yeah, literally a Viking.
And he was also a professional. He was a boxer. He was a Marine. You know, all this crazy shit. So,
okay, so let me get this right, Preston. You are a combination of Native American, Viking, Brazilian, and Italian.
Yeah, pretty much.
Remind me not to fuck with you anytime in the near future.
I think you see the Native American. I think that's where the whiskey thing comes in.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Where I got mine too. I have my family. I have a strong Native American source because a lot of my family's from Oklahoma, Cherokee. And I also have a issue with whiskey. We've discussed that on the stream a few times.
Yeah, that's not a myth. Like everybody wants to say that's a myth. It's not a myth.
It's not a myth. It's not a stereotype. It was one of the things that was used as a tool to genocide Native Americans.
Yeah.
They would bring them like all you could drink. They would bring them, you know, in addition to wagons full of blankets infected with smallpox. They would also bring them booze.
Yeah. Well, there was another thing too. Like, I was working on I was working on Brave Star. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Brave Star. Yeah. I remember it.
Well,
yeah, very well.
It was a thing where we were trying to get the license for it, right? Well, somebody was trying to get the license, and I did this pin-up and stuff like that, and I was supposed to work on it, but something fell through. Anyway, so he was like, I'm going to make Brave Star with a beard and mustache. I was like, full-blooded Indians can't grow facial hair. Right. So he Googled it real quick, and he's like, it says that's a myth. I was like, show me a picture
of a Native American with
Civil
a beard.
War, where you have a Native American with a beard, because I guarantee you Gillette did not exist back then.
Yeah. That's like they don't realize that there's that those are like little genetic traits that people have. You know what I mean? It's like it's just you know it blows my mind that people like just don't even realize that. You know.
And they'll challenge you on the facts too. They'll be like, "That's racist." I'm like, "No, it's like an actual biological fact."
Yeah, that's not racist. That's genetic. Get over it.
Yes, yes. Well, I mean, even the whole term racism is kind of stupid because there's only one race of human beings. There's only one species of human being. So,
gentlemen, there's only one species that rule the earth. This is why I found to combat racism. Yep. We'll teach my book. We'll go to combat racism, and we'll fight the species that's existing right now that's tearing us apart.
I was wondering where you went.
Makes sense to me.
You speciesism. You speciesist.
You
speciesist.
Well, it's interesting because you look at what eugenics, right, which is a total quack science. That's not something that the Nazis invented, but boy, they hopped on board with it and used it to justify all their bullshit. It turns out that being a thoroughbred, like myself, actually isn't such a good thing. That when you take people from different parts of the world and you mix all that DNA together, you're actually introducing fresh genes into the gene pool.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's why purebred dogs die quicker, and they're not as smart as
dysplasia. They got all these issues. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because we've had Dobermans. You know what I'm saying? I love Dobermans. You know what I'm saying? We don't like the last Doberman. We usually like I don't get the small ones. Like we get the Warlock breed, you know. So their poundage is like double the American breeds.
Oh wow! So they're more like Dobies.
Yeah, they're huge. Like mine,
more like Rotties.
Well, no, they look like a Doberman. It's just that they're way bigger.
Okay, so, like not Great Dane size, but like
like an American Doberman goes at like maximum they go around 70 pounds, right?
Yeah,
ours go in between 110 to 120 pounds. You know, so they're huge, dude. And they're just as quick and they're just as fast, and you know, but they're not mean. That's the thing. Like
no, they're sweet.
Are they thicker and heavier, or are they just like Great Dane sized?
No, they're muscular. They look like a giant version of an American Doberman. But the thing is that everybody thinks they're mean, but they're not, right?
No.
But the females are a different story. Because they're highly protected, you know what I'm saying? And they're crazy. Like they will kill you. And the thing about that is because one of my buddies, he was an old biker and he used to be a drug dealer, right?
Yeah.
And to protect his drugs, he had a female Doberman and he had a male Doberman. He said the female was the mean one, and the male will follow her and do whatever she does. So if she attacks somebody, the male's going to attack them too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It was crazy.
Wow. That moment, by the way, when they were walking by the window and the hands came through the boards, that's a great, iconic horror moment and one of the best jump scares ever. And jump scares, of course, what are they? They're cheap shots most of the time. But in a case like this, they're not necessarily completely a cheap shot because it's something that then keeps you off edge. And from now on, for the rest of the movie, whenever somebody walks by a window, you're worried, you're wondering if like a hand's going to come through.
See, jump scares are necessary evil if you do it right. The problem is these modern horror films, that's all they do is jump scares.
Exactly.
Well, that was the thing about Five Nights at Freddy's. Is that it's a video game based completely on jump scares, you know, and all these kids were coming up to me and I'm like, hey, can you do Five Nights at Freddy's? You know, that's the scariest thing I've ever seen. And I'm like,
nude zombie. Not exactly feeling that.
The nude one? Was it a dude or was it a chick?
That was a chick.
It was a chick.
Yeah, had a pretty nice booty. And this is a zombie eating a centipede, which starts off, is often used. Well, I shouldn't say it's often used, but one of the problems I have with The Walking Dead is that the zombies eat animals. And zombies should never eat animals because once zombies are eating animals, it changes the whole scenario. And suddenly it's not entirely about us anymore. Because the really terrifying thing about zombies is if the dead were to rise and to start devouring the living, even the most hardened atheist is going to think, oh, fuck, there is a God and he's pissed off and he's getting rid of us. He's wiping the slate clean like the Great Flood. This is a great flood of rotting carnivorous flesh.
Stupid enough to go die in that trap, that's your business. However, I am not stupid enough to follow you.
I am not stupid enough to follow you.
Your old man is so stupid. Now, get the hell down in the cellar. You can be the boss down there. I'm boss
up here. Yeah, and that's a problem right there. That's a problem with Ben. It's like, really, dude? You're a boss now?
With your help, we could. With my help.
But that's the whole point of these movies, and especially this one. If these people all worked together, they easily could whip those zombies' asses. Easily.
Judy?
And everybody could have survived. I always wondered why they didn't go on the roof, personally, but that's the thing, is that you see that it's a running theme through the entire trilogy. People, instead of working together, people just tear each other apart.
Yeah, I think Romero's point was, like we're going to sabotage ourselves every time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh yeah. Romero's Cuban, by the way, or was Cuban, and I believe grew up in the Bronx, and then moved to Pittsburgh to go to college, and ended up staying in Pittsburgh, and ended up becoming a horror icon and legendary great American filmmaker. I think it's a disservice to say that Romero is like one of the great American horror directors. He's one of the great American directors, as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
You think?
safe now.
Yeah. I mean, anybody who has 3 classics under their belt,
They want to stay
3 classics, then you're like in a special club.
Yeah.
And here's the thing too. When this came out, benchmark horror movie, game changer, right? Then in 78, I believe, Dawn of the Dead. Once again, benchmark moment, game changer. Day of the Dead, not a benchmark moment, not a game changer, but still just an awesome zombie movie. And then, of course, there's Martin, which I think is his best movie, which is about a young man who may or may not be a vampire, but certainly drinks the blood of young women.
Huh. I got to check that out. I haven't heard of it.
It's brilliant. It's Romero's most personal movie.
Uh-huh.
It's very much about addiction and appetite.
So he's addicted to blood. He doesn't necessarily have to have it, right?
Well, we don't know that.
Monsters
Oh,
get in up.
okay.
It's like have you ever read The Turn of the Screw, the old Henry James ghost story?
Maybe me let them in.
Well, in that, it's about it was shot as The Innocents. I believe there's a new version coming out this year.
What do you mean by that?
But it's about a governess who's taking care of 2 children, and it seems to be being haunted by the ghosts of Prince and Jessel, who were the previous governess and the handyman, who had a affair together, and I think committed suicide together. And through the entire story, like at the end of one chapter, you're like, "Oh my God, there's ghosts up in this piece." But then at the end of the next chapter, you're like, "Oh no, wait a second, there are no ghosts here. It's all in her head." And the entire story goes like that, where you're like, "Oh shit, there's ghosts. Oh wait, there's no ghosts. Wait, there's ghosts. Wait, there's no ghosts."
You see, they've been incorporating that in comics though. Like they had a Mr. Miracle storyline that went, I think it was last year or 2 years ago or something like that. But it was the same premise. Like you didn't know if Mr. Miracle was dead or like he got killed by Darkseid, or if he was still alive. You know what I'm saying? Like because in the beginning they show him slicing his wrist, and then the next thing,
but I didn't read it. Yeah.
And it was really, really good. Like I read it and I was like, dude, this is fucking serious. Because even at the end, at the last page of the book, you don't know if he's dead or not. He doesn't know.
That is exactly how Martin ends. That's exactly how The Turn of the Screw ends.
And then the newest Moon Knight, I think not newest, but I think it was last year. They did a Moon Knight story arc. Same thing. He's in an insane asylum, and you don't know if he's insane or if he's actually seeing the shit that he's seeing. It's crazy. Right. But it was really, really good. Like I think it's done by the same writer. I got to check that out. Yeah, but it was really good, dude.
I loved the Moon Knight that was done by not Grant Morrison. Another one of those British cats. The guy who did Transmetropolitan. Why am I spazzing on this thing? But anyway, and I know that are they doing Moon Knight as a movie, or is that going to be one like a Disney
TV
series?
show. I think they're doing a TV series.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I was trying to get the first appearance of Moon Knight, and it was just that fucking book went from $500 to $800 for a shitty copy. I mean, a really shitty copy.
Really? Because I think I might have one.
You got the first appearance, like Werewolf?
I certainly had it as a kid. I wrote. Yeah.
Let me know, dude.
Monster book. Yeah, no, I'll definitely take a look later and
it's Werewolf by Night, number 32 or 33, something like that.
Yeah,
I got the second appearance, but I got a really bad copy of the second appearance. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was a huge fan of the Marvel Monsters. You see, what I'm hoping, this is what I wish Disney would do. I know they're not going to do it, but the bomb would be if they decided we're going to do the Marvel Monsters and we're going to do these as like $10-20 million movies. Not big, $200 million spectaculars with tons of CGI and all that crap. We're going to do modestly budgeted, straight up horror movies Marvel Monsters, Werewolf by Night, Ghost Rider, the Zombie, Simon Garth.
They are doing a Ghost Rider series, but it's not going to be the Ghost Rider. It's going to be Robbie Reyes. You know the
Oh, that's okay.
Because honestly, I kind of dig Robbie Reyes.
I do too.
Ghost Charger.
Yes.
Like I dig that.
I do too. Yeah. So I'm with that program.
Yeah. Because it was such a big success on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that they decided to go ahead and make it into a TV series.
Interesting. Then there's the Morbius movie that's coming out, which has.
Dude, I cannot wait for that, dude. Aww. I am such a huge Morbius fan.
I'm a huge Morbius fan too, but I can't stand Jared Leto, man. I can't stand him.
Dude, I tell you, have you watched that movie yet?
No.
It still does look impressive. I have to admit, it does look impressive. So the jury's still out on it. But I was gonna say, Doctor Strange 2, if that movie does well and they stick with the horror motive, you might see a little more Marvel horror down the road.
Yeah.
I was serious, Brian. You got to watch Dallas Buyers Club. It'll change your opinion about Leto.
Dude, I'm telling you, Dallas Buyers Club. He was a fucking boss in that motherfucker.
Okay.
Dude. He was awesome.
You would change your opinion forever. You will.
Okay. I still think he's just a male model.
Yeah,
worst
you will change
Joker ever.
Trust me, you will change your mind. You will change your mind. Just like I used to think Brad Pitt was like that until I saw him in 12 Monkeys, and I was like, whoa.
Oh, no, he's awesome. Yeah, he kicks ass.
But I didn't think he kicked ass until I saw him in 12 Monkeys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Play with the rabbit here.
Well, even if he is a good actor, Jared Leto's still a poser.
Again, watch the movie. Watch the movie, and then we'll discuss that again.
Let me put it this way: the way Ryan Reynolds was passionate about Deadpool, that's the way Jared Leto is about Morbius. Morbius wouldn't have got made without Jared Leto pushing it, dude.
Really?
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. I'm serious.
That's interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, so he was into Morbius the way that Wesley Snipes was into Blade and Black Panther.
I don't know about that because I don't know how Wesley Snipes was in a Blade.
Oh,
was he in the Blade or?
Oh yeah, he's the one that got Blade made. He first he wanted to do Black Panther, but he couldn't get that off the ground, but then he managed to get Blade off the ground. And to me, man, it was so surreal sitting in a movie theater watching a Blade movie because I freaking loved Blade, but he never had his own comic, at least not when I was a kid. And I believe by the time when
Marvel never actually bought Blade, like that was the creator just saying, "Here's my character. Won't we use him for this?" And somehow Marvel claimed him. I don't know.
Well, Blade was a regular occurrence in Spider-Man.
And
yeah, but
Tomb of Dracula.
He wasn't ever like owned by Marvel. He was created by the guy who created him.
Marv Wolfman.
Yeah, he created him for Marvel. You know.
Yeah,
and it wasn't a Marvel. He never created that character on the clock, and he never sold him to Marvel either. You know what I'm saying?
That's what the lawsuit was about. And then, of course, as we were discussing yesterday, fucking John Byrne comes in.
How they won that? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and John Byrne, man, what a fucking traitor to do that to a fellow creator. And Marv Wolfman said he was actually like sitting and like while in between questions. When Byrne was giving his testimony against Wolfman, he was like making faces at him.
Byrne?
Yeah, like a little like a 10-year-old.
Huh.
So we have that truck. We can get some gas. We can get out of here.
Which kills me because, man, I mean, the John Byrne, Terry Austin, Chris Claremont run, man, on X-Men, Team Supreme. Those are just awesome comics. But you know what? Sometimes real great art is created by absolute dicks.
Yeah, he is a dick, dude. I met him, and he's a prick.
Like, you told me.
I don't think but I still like his work, so it's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You have to separate the person from the art. You have to.
And I also met you know who Ed Roth is, right? Like
Big Daddy?
Yeah, I met his son at a convention.
Uh-huh.
And we took pictures in his car because he builds cars like his dad, dude. And I was able to give him some of my rat rod art. Let me show you some of that.
How are you going to get over to
Oh, man, I had the model kits when I was a kid.
Yeah, well, I did a bunch of pieces because I want to do. In fact, I did one that was related to a road trip. You know,
Nice. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just interrupt you here for a second. The tall man with the microphone. Okay.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The tall man with the microphone in that scene is George Romero. He's like to the left of your screen. You're just seeing his arm right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's Romero. You'll notice that he's like 7 feet tall.
Radiation is not the cause of the mutation. I can't speak for the entire military.
Yeah, he was like a big dude. And also, I never had the pleasure of meeting him. It's one of my great regrets. But everybody I know, without exception, who met him said that he was just a dude. Like couldn't have been more humble. Like super nice guy.
Well, at least they didn't like say he was a chick.
When the satellite was
Oh, and also another really weird thing when this aired, when this was broadcast on television when I was a kid in New York State, across the bottom of the screen was a little message that said dramatization. Because they were worried that people were going to see this and think it was actually the news.
So perhaps there will be a report.
You know, like War of the Worlds,
right?
Style.
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel, Brian.
I'm sorry. Could you go back to that just for a second so I can like spooge over it some more? Oh man, look at these. These are fucking awesome.
Yeah. I did these a while back. I gave Ed Rock's son this one. It was a big, huge poster.
It's only about 17 miles from here.
Is that like a little Mars Attacks influence there? Or?
Yeah. I thought Mars Attacks was cool, and I was trying to do something like a Future Shock type of thing. These were done in 2008 too. These
Preston, have you seen those cards yet? The original Mars Attacks cards. Those are gonna blow your freaking mind. They're so scary. They're so creepy. Like you can't believe they were selling this shit to kids. Like if you sold that to kids now, they would put you in jail.
I couldn't believe they sold Garbage Patch Kids. Those Garbage Pail Kids. I couldn't believe they sold that to children.
Yeah, that was
I love kids. I had to collect the whole bundle back when I was young. I loved it.
Hey, kids love that stuff, man. Kids love horror. They love gross stuff. Anything that freaks their parents out.
Some answers. But first, let me stress the importance of seeking medical attention for anyone who's been injured in any way.
And one of the things that makes these scenes so effective is that all those people are actual, like, local TV personalities. That's why they seem so authentic. Why they seem so.
That's probably why they put like dramatization on it.
Yeah. With the kid, all right?
How did that happen?
I mean, I still thought it was ridiculous. It's like, how could anybody think that this is? But then again, people thought the Blair Witch Project was real.
Well, they thought they were being invaded because of that radio program, right?
Yes, New Jersey, the Orson Welles' War of the Worlds broadcast.
War of the Worlds, yeah.
And then there was the incident with Ghost Watch, which I think I mentioned on our show about ghosts, which caused a hysteria. Absolute hysteria in England when it was broadcast live. And that's also because they used like regular TV personalities. So these were like people that they trusted.
Preferably by cremation.
And if you've never seen Ghost Watch, by the way, I believe it's on Shudder right now. Absolutely one of the best horror films ever made.
Time to make funeral arrangements.
Like, I mean, like genuinely terrifying.
And
Huh. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, like genuinely, like had me shit and pissing myself while I was watching it.
Comforts that a funeral service will give. They're
Right.
just dead flesh and dangerous. I see.
I need you to find some bedspreads or sheets to tear up into small strips, okay? Is there a fruit cellar here?
Yes.
We need some bottles, make Molotov cocktails and hold them off while we try to escape.
Hey, there's a big can of kerosene down there.
There's a big can of kerosene down there.
Yeah, he's like the one bad actor in this.
Key to the gas pump on.
I'll check.
Carl Hardman said that he could never watch this movie, that it would always make him cringe. That's the guy who plays Mr. Cooper. I think he's terrific.
But that'll leave the door open someplace.
Yeah, that's right. It better be this door. It's closer to the truck. Before we go out, we'll put some supplies behind the cellar door. While we're gone, the rest of you can hold up in there.
I found some fruit jars in the cellar. And there's a key on here that's labeled for the gas pump out back.
I'm not really that used to the truck.
Oh, and if you've never seen the Night of the Living Dead comic book, which was out of print for about 30 years, I got it in a special edition that you can order directly from the producers of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also cool because this is public domain. They they made very little money off of this movie, but now they're like merchandising, that sort of a thing. I got it was a special package, a box with the Criterion Collection edition, the Blu-ray of this, which I highly recommend. Picture quality is eye-popping. You've never seen that movie look better. And it also included a trade paperback of the Night of the Living Dead comic book, which I believe the artist took 3 years to finish. Because every page is painted. Every page is a painting.
You always have a smile for me.
Canvas. Yeah, and it's all black and white paint.
How many do you have done?
Wait, he painted it in black and white?
Yes.
Come on, honey.
I'm telling you, you got to see this thing. It's astounding.
The phone is dead out.
And it has a very interesting odor to it too, I must say. It's I don't know if it's a sniffable bulb because it smells kind of toxic.
It'll be all right. As soon as we get to Willard, we'll call them. They might even be there.
Where is that thing? Now I got to dig that thing up.
Tom, are you sure we're doing the right thing, Tom?
What, about getting out of here?
Yeah.
Well, the television said that's the right thing to do. We've got to get to a rescue station.
I don't know.
Come on, honey. You're starting to sound like Mr. Cooper now.
Why do you have to go?
Starting to sound like Mr. Cooper.
I know how to handle that truck, and I can handle the pump.
I could tell by the way that this is edited that they had to single out his
For how long?
his lines.
We're safe now, but there's going to be more and more of those things.
It's like one of those things directors have to do, like when an actor can't really act, they make them do the lines over and over and over again, and they have to hack them up.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I see that. Yeah.
In one of my earlier films, I had an actor. He had 3 lines to utter, and it took me, I'm not kidding, it took me 16 minutes to shoot those 2 lines because he wouldn't say it right. So I had to splice and cut it up. So it sounded smooth and continual. Looking at the guy right now, he does seem like somebody that doesn't seem to be a professional actor.
Hey.
He looks like one of those guys that you just pick up from the streets.
He reminds me of a boxer that was taught to act.
Yes.
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah.
Little punch drunk.
Yeah, like he's a little punchy. Yeah.
It's the only piece of bad acting in the movie.
He looks like George Romero owes somebody a favor.
Well, he was, hiring local talent, and he did use people from Pittsburgh in all of his movies, or at least all of his independent movies.
He needed a handsome white boy for the movie, and that was probably the only one he could find on his budget.
Yeah, but he also didn't, he didn't get the lead. He got the lead because he was the best actor, according to Romero. But as we were saying before, it completely changes the movie.
Right.
Oh, I see Kite behind you. Mr. Cooper, just a pill. Taking orders from a black man. Or I'm sorry, around this time the black people were called colored. Oh, very grim piece of trivia about this. Romero was driving the negative to a lab to be developed in New York City. And as he was driving, he was listening to the radio and heard the news that Martin Luther King had been assassinated.
Really?
Yeah. Another much less interesting piece of trivia. This movie was released theatrically on October 1st, 1968, the day I was born.
Aww.
When I found that out, because I'd been a aggressive fan of this movie for most of my life, I was just like, oh, it's destiny.
I was christened by George A. Romero.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Da-da. Now what? Watch this zombie catch fire and start booking. Wow! Yeah, baby, burn.
Go ahead, go on.
It was always a tradition with my friends and I when we would watch this, with a lot of a lot of alcoholic accompaniment and maybe some herbal supplements. Everybody would have to have a weapon. Everybody we would have like the lights turned all low and everything, and barricade the doors, and so you'd have drunk people wandering around the house with weapons trying to find the bathroom. How nobody got hurt beats me, but
that's awesome, dude. We used to do that on shrooms. Like we used to get our shotguns.
That's great. Oh, you know what's real crazy? Here's a real non sequitur. Like I said, I work in the mental health field. Turns out that right now, scientists are looking at shrooms as a potential treatment for depression.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, they've been doing that for a while. Yeah, they've actually already determined that psilocybin is a good treatment. The reason why mushrooms themselves are still questionable is because people have different addictions and different blood chemistry, and people can get really sick on mushrooms. And so they're trying to synthesize the active ingredient and use that instead.
Yeah. Plus,
interesting.
Ayahuasca. Yeah. They've been experimenting with ayahuasca for a while. Like as far as
which is
ayahuasca. You don't know what ayahuasca is?
No.
That's the shit they take and they see God and all that kind of stuff.
Peyote?
Yeah, and they've been using that with clinically, like having people, inside a hospital, like inducing ayahuasca, having them throw up or shit or whatever they got to do.
Interesting. Interesting.
It's crazy, but they're finding that all of these drugs, these mind expanding drugs and shit like that, are actually helping people, like you said, with mental illness.
Yeah. But of course,
it's not for everybody.
Well, yeah. Look. If I could get off meds and get on something natural, absolutely.
Well, a lot of people, what they're doing is they're microdosing. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can't handle a full dose, you microdose,
right?
And it actually helps you more because actually, if you're creative, you're an artist, it makes colors better. It opens your mind to different ideas and stuff.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and you don't really feel it because it's such a low dose. You don't get the hallucinations and all that kind of stuff that goes with it. You see, you get a lot of the benefits, but none of the crazy.
Without the giggle fits.
Yeah. Like right now, like it's illegal in where is that weed's legal and prostitution and all that shit? It's
Nevada?
No, not Nevada. It's in the UK.
Weed is not legal in Nevada.
Oh, Amsterdam.
So in Amsterdam, they used to have shrooms used to be legal in Amsterdam until a couple of crazy people got a hold of the shrooms, because they used to sell them in convenience stores.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's Amsterdam for you.
Oh, some of these lunatics, like they had two people one of them killed his girlfriend, and the other one got in a van and skinned his dog alive. And he came out wearing its guts and shit like that. And he was loaded on fucking shrooms, right? And so they made shrooms illegal, but you can still get the fuck, dude. Why can't I remember? It's like a bonbon or something like that. You know what I'm saying? But you can still get these little, like, hors d'oeuvre looking things, and it's still a hallucinogen, And
interesting.
You can trip over it.
Yeah. If y'all have never been to Amsterdam, I highly recommend it.
Oh, you went?
Oh yeah.
Was it good? You got loaded?
Yeah, it was Amsterdam. Hello. cruise the red light district. Didn't buy, but
Well, nobody will blame you if you did. I mean, it's cool.
No. I don't judge either, but it's still fun to do a little window shopping because you've never seen anything like it before in the world.
Yeah.
And of course, the prostitutes there, they're taken care of. They get their shots. They
Well,
don't
if you never went and bought, how would you know that? You just busted yourself.
I would fess up. That's for sure. But
it's for science.
There you go. But decriminalizing prostitution ended up being a good thing. It's like it's harm reduction.
Well, I always thought it would be a good thing if you did decriminalize it because it would probably stop a lot of the human trafficking.
Absolutely,
shit like that.
Bring back bordellos. That would be my answer.
Plus, I mean, you got medical. They'd have to have free. They'd have to have medical.
They get their shots. They get their shots. They don't have pimps that are like beating them up and taking their money. They're in business for themselves. It's 100 times better situation.
Dude, because I mean, you watch some of those documentaries on the prostitutes in the U.S. and it's horrible.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
I can't see how these chicks like do that. It's crazy.
I know. It is awful.
When once they get into the line of work, they become totally detached and damaged. That's pretty much what they are.
I know. And the stigma. Oh, guts. Yeah, here we go with a notorious gut munching scene. There's a nice raw liver. This is
making me hungry.
Tasty.
I want some ribs now.
Yeah, need some barbecue.
Well, you know what I always wanted to do? I never actually did it for any of our zombie parties, but I always wanted to get like some rope sausage and slather it in barbecue sauce and just serve that. No utensils. You got to eat with your hands.
I like the ribs idea, barbecue ribs, because you can't eat ribs without making a mess.
Absolutely.
You really can't.
Isn't it 3:00 yet?
So can you imagine, like having a zombie party where everybody's got barbecue sauce all over their face and their hands?
For some reason that never happened, but there was booze aplenty.
I like last Halloween, I managed to pick up a brain Jello mold.
Oh, those are awesome. Yeah.
Well, we better leave soon.
Yeah, those are great.
It's 10 minutes to 3.
I used to love Halloween, but it's just not the same anymore. Like they made it not fun.
I mean, is Willard the nearest town?
I mean, Halloween will always be Halloween. It's adults have sort of taken it over to a large degree. What I find irritating, but also kind of interesting, is that all these costume shops pop up around Halloween time selling costumes for women, and they're all lingerie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're all for sex role playing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I love that shit. But
yeah,
I'm talking about like the church is taking over pretty much over here. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, if it
elaborate, please.
Like it can't fall on a Sunday anymore.
What?
And it doesn't go past 7 o'clock.
What's wrong?
What?
Yeah. So they start trick or treating at 4 or 5 o'clock in the day. And it's like
Barely.
That's a heresy. Heresy.
Yeah, that's considered a frayed conservative America. You just get used to it. It's like that in a lot of places.
Yeah, see, I forget because I live in New York. And especially my friends in the city, they kind of think that everybody kind of thinks the way that they do. They don't realize that
you have to realize that there's some people that have experienced other people that lack culture and education to any degree. Okay,
and critical thinking skills too.
Right. So there are people out there who are just dangerous in general. You know what I mean? Like they're just like like they're like real life zombies, you might say.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? They're just dangerous people, and they're everywhere. So if you live somewhere where you might have lots of those dangerous people, and you know what I mean, and you're raising children, you may want a lot of extra rules to protect your children from those dangerous people.
It's interesting because that's what zombies are often perceived as a metaphor is mass mindlessness. the mob, or as Clive Barker said, they represent the masses whom you'd love to love, but there they are, their faces are sliding off, and they're trying to eat you.
Yeah, well, when you're living somewhere where where you might all of a sudden just look up from your dinner table and see somebody staring in your window.
Oh,
okay, and realize that's not a very uncommon thing.
That is spooky, man. That is spooky.
Yeah. Well, it's spooky, especially if they're doing something creepy to themselves. Like there's there's
I only did that once. It wasn't a big deal. I paid for it.
There are people that do that will wander around to their neighbors' houses and jerk off to them eating food.
I haven't experienced that.
I have experienced that actually, and actually we had a peeping Tom that was I thought I saw him outside my window, and I found out later that a lot of people had seen him outside their window, and my girlfriend was taking a nap, and suddenly the window broke, right, and it was a storm window, and somebody had taken a bag of, I think, charcoal briquettes or something and thrown it into the window, and I'm positive it was this guy.
Well, there's no problem.
He was like smashing the window to try, I don't know, to try to get in, maybe.
Club or a torch. Beat him or burn
but yeah,
him.
beat him or burn him. I go up pretty easy.
There's a lot of dangerous people out there, and that's why I'll never be against the Second Amendment. That's why I'll never ever be in favor of banning guns of any kind, because I have seen up close and personal people that are just scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, me too. Like I used to hang with them.
They start out young too. A lot of these people start when they're teens. You could pick up these signs just when they're in elementary school, and you could tell.
There's people that don't even make it to elementary school that they grow up in
severely damaged, dude.
Yeah,
severely,
I mean, it's that there's parts of this country. There's the Ozarks. There's the Appalachian Mountains. There's there's parts of Wyoming. There where people don't interact with anybody but their immediate family and the occasional person that passes by, because they're just straight mountain people.
Well, let's put it this way: when I went to school in Mississippi, I was in elementary school, middle school. Okay, so we were last period. This kid, he was obviously he looked like Joe Dirt, right? Like a miniature Joe Dirt.
Yeah,
I'm not lying.
And everything.
And he was telling the teacher about his dog, right? And one of the other kids, his friend, was like, "Yeah, that motherfucker tied his dog to a tree and set it on fire. It was a puppy." And he was like, he goes, "Well, I was doing it a favor because it had mange."
Oh my!
These are the type of people like Drew's talking about.
Yeah,
and they don't know no better. That's
right.
Well, I mean, raised that way. But you can obviously tell he had some type of retardation, some type of inbreeding because of his eyes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Well, there's a lot of that too. That's the thing, is there's a lot of and it's not all inbreeding, but a lot of it is inbreeding.
Yeah.
But there are genetic disorders that also circulate that nobody wants to claim, because they're what they call the what was it, hillbilly virus, or what do they call it? It's not virus, they used another word. But there was basically they used to say it was inbreeding, but it really wasn't caused by inbreeding. It was just caused by something similar to inbreeding, because the genes were basically this town. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even though it still wasn't first cousin direct. You know what I mean? Even it was just that the genetic hadn't spread beyond the town after a long period of time. And I mean, that's where you get. That's
everybody in the town that kept just breeding with each other. And
we have that here. We have the Hasidic community that is totally genetically isolated and just interbreed and have all kinds of problems as a result.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that kind of stuff, is leads to some weird things, and then you get a mutation, and that mutation stays in the gene pool. It creates other issues. You know what I mean?
And
it's never a good mutation. Let's be honest. We're not talking Cyclops from the X-Men or something.
Well, you know what's funny about this is there's an entire horror genre about this exact thing that we're talking about right now.
The Hills Have Eyes.
The backwoods horror genre: Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Hills Have Eyes, Just Before Dawn, Rituals, Deliverance.
Mm-hmm. And that's why those are really scary, is because that shit's real. Yeah. It's not like fucking werewolves and vampires. That's like real people fucking that really exist doing really fucked up real things.
There's a French movie about the subject that's really good called Calvaire, which means ordeal. I don't want to say too much about the plot, but that's, if you could get your hands on that, that's a pretty cringe-inducing movie in a good way.
And he's back.
Sorry, I was back in the backstage for about a minute listening to the conversation, because I actually want to chime in on a couple issues that you all pointed out regarding the inbreeding in the Hasidic community. There was actually a Netflix documentary, I think, about the Hasidic community.
Yes, that's my backyard, brother. That's right in my backyard.
Yeah, it's prevalent in the Brooklyn community, and also I used to take my stepson to therapy because he had scoliosis and he had the surgery, so I would take him to physical therapy. And there's an abundance of young Jewish people who look like they were a product of inbreeding, or because they had all kinds of mental disorders and they had all kinds of occupational therapy. So it was an eye opener for me.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I mean, so gruesome. This is very metal. Yes, they're tool users. But yeah, no, that documentary, One of Us, really shows how the Hasidic community is a cult. To me, a religious community is a cult if they don't let you leave. And that, if women who are treated terribly in that community, if they try to leave, they take their kids.
That's like the Hare Krishners were doing that. Like, if you drop out of that community, you don't get to see your children anymore. That's it.
Yeah, that's not cool. Very, very, very not cool. There's actually a young lady in my support group that is a refugee from the Hasidic community, and says, they just want you to be a baby machine, and she wasn't down with that, so she left when she was young. But yeah, then you get excommunicated, like your family's not allowed to talk to you and all that. Yeah, but there are people who get out.
Well, it's amazing because, I mean, I've always said people are sheep. You know what I'm saying? There's no greater example of how sheeply they are when it comes to religion. Or
religion is a good way to control people. Yeah. But then again, you look at something like, German. Look at what happened in Germany, and the Nazis were very anti-Christian. Although actually their public position was that they were Christian. It's when you have people that are driven by ideology or faith. Yeah, it can be a very rigid system that doesn't allow for any let's say deviant thinking.
Yeah, the Nazis actually used the Bible and Christianity to justify all the people they were killing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, not in private. I mean,
no, but obviously in private they had different motivation, but I mean publicly, the reason why the Jews were singled out, the reason why the homosexuals were singled out, were both biblical purpose. They
I know.
Well, the big literature influence for the Nazis was Martin Luther's I forget which title it was, but it was a book about the Jews that they were heavily
influenced. And of course, there were the books on eugenics, but also, the concentration camps weren't public. You know, the general public didn't know about the concentration camps. The general soldiers didn't even know about the concentration camps. In fact, when they showed footage to German POWs here in the States of the concentration camps, you know what they did? They laughed.
Yeah.
They laughed because they thought, they were like, "What? You expect us to believe that this shit is real?" And
Yeah,
so
they knew that they like it was known that people were getting shipped off to their deaths, but they didn't know exactly how it was going
they
on.
should have known.
And they did know that people were getting shipped off to concentration camps, but they didn't know what it really. They weren't calling them concentration camps; they were calling them something else at the time. But yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, the concentration camps weren't built to kill Jewish people; they were repurposed to kill Jewish people and gypsies, and they were re-education camps that were repurposed as extermination camps.
Well, they weren't all extermination camps. I mean, a lot of those concentration camps, you know, that held people that never got killed, and a lot of them never even had anybody that got killed coming out of them.
I know.
I mean, it really started out as, again, the killing part was we need to just get rid of these people because they're costing too much money. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a movie about that called the Wannsee Conference, and it's great because it's done in real time and it's all taken from like the transcripts, because the Nazis were like the Romans. They were very into keeping records, man, and so they kept records of their crimes. And yeah, in real time, you see them going, okay, well, how are we going to do this? And yeah, in the space of like 2 hours, yeah, they worked out the plan. They're like, let's use the concentration camps. That we already have those. Let's use those to like butcher millions of people. And it's a really eerie movie because of how what is it? Hannah Arendt called it the banality of evil. You know, where you have people that do like these incredibly evil things, and they're very matter of fact about it. Do you know what I mean? It's like. God, I hate to use a line from the Street Fighter movie, but it's like, you know, for you, the day that your village was destroyed, that was, you know, the worst day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday.
Yeah, I just think it's crazy how they started out, you know, making sure everybody was showered and undressed, and so like all their possessions were not getting burned up when they were executed. But then it like moved to where like they were just trying to roll people through the execution process so fast, and it got to the point to where like they were just shooting people and throwing them in the ovens.
Yep. Well, mass graves actually.
Yeah. Well, no, the mass graves were also used at the very, very end when they were just like trying to just get rid of everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it started out with like a procedure and process. It's like, okay, everybody get undressed. We're gonna do this, and then it's just gonna be bones. Are gonna be dust, and blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? And then it was just a cycle where you know they were, you know, gassing people, and then burning the bodies. You know what I mean? Then it got to the point to where like that was too much work, so they were shooting them. And then burning the bodies. And then that got to be too much work. And it got to be you know what I mean? And then they were shooting them and then dumping them in holes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was a German kid that grew up in an area that was like predominantly Italian and Jewish. So I got called a Nazi from, you know, third grade, I think. Mm-hmm. So I learned as much as I could about the Nazis because I was like, okay, for the rest of my life, I'm going to be identified with these motherfuckers. I'm going to learn as much as I possibly can about them.
Well, it's probably because the way you shaved your beard and mustache.
This is before I even had facial hair, brother. It's before I even had facial.
Yeah, well, you shouldn't have been wearing that little like bit of grease underneath your nose. You know, every time it itched. You know that little dirt patch. That little dirt patch got you.
I'll never forget the moment. It was in 4th grade, and we were supposed to watch this Holocaust TV series. And one of the teachers asked one of the students asked the teacher, like, you know, why did the Germans, you know, do all these horrible things? And she said, oh, well, you know, it's because they're monsters. And I raised my hand to go, wait a second, I'm German, expecting that she was going to go, ooh, my bad. But instead, she shot me this look of daggers, and slowly, every head in the classroom turned and looked back at me. Yeah, that's when school started getting funky.
Well, that was when I was in grade school. Like, there was this one Chinese kid in the class, and I asked him what race he was. You know, because I didn't know no better. I was just, hey, what's your race? And the teacher was like, that's none of your damn business. What his race is.
Go ahead down and give him a hand.
That's a question. It's like, here goes, down goes Duane.
See, I still think that we
wait,
should.
Wait, whoa. Is that Kirk Douglas? Was that Kirk Douglas?
No.
Good shot.
No, you're right. It's not. He looks a lot like Kirk Douglas.
That's another one for the far.
I can't believe Kirk Douglas died. Like, he was.
Some shit, dude. Man, damn, dude. Give the guy a break.
Seriously, can't ask for a better run than that, man. He was what a man's man. It's like, I don't know if you've ever seen Saturn 3.
The one with with
right?
Fawcett.
Yeah, he's like in his 60s and he's banging Farrah Fawcett like in her 20s. You totally believe it. You're like, yeah, that's how that would have gone down.
Wasn't that like her first nude scene too?
Yes. Oh, this unforgettable end credit sequence. Just treating him like a piece of meat.
Holy crap, dude. That's insane.
It's also worth mentioning that this was not intended to be like an completely apocalyptic movie. It's the Night of the Living Dead. So it's like it's a one-time incident. And by the end of this, you're led to believe that it's been controlled and contained.
Yeah.
And it's only in Dawn of the Dead that you see that it's gotten out of control.
I like
what's going on in China right now.
I thought that was badass.
I love Shaun of the Dead. I love that movie.
Shaun of the Dead was awesome.
Shaun of the Dead.
Awesome.
That was great.
George Romero was a huge fan. In fact, he included the cast and the director in cameos as zombies in Land of the Dead.
Hey, Randy, light these torches over here.
Randy, light these torches.
Bang! And the bleakest end in horror movie history.
Zombie movies would be cool if it wasn't just so overdone. You know what I mean? They've totally bastardized it too.
Oh, they did the same thing with vampires, like the years before that. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
it seems to be a thing with Hollywood. Like they'll go through classic monsters and just like exhaust the shit out of them, and then jump to the next one and completely exhaust it. Yeah.
Well, the crazy thing about the zombie phenomenon is when I was a kid, the only people who were into zombies were total deviants, like real trolls, you know, and maybe like, you know, punk rockers and such, you know, just like scumbags and deviants were the only people that were into zombie movies. And there was literally, and by zombie movies, I mean, of course, the George Romero style zombies, not the voodoo style zombies.
Yeah.
You literally could count every zombie movie on like one hand. And now there's hundreds of them every year. And so
it's the lowest, it's the cheapest way, it's the cheapest budget movie that you can make, because you get a lot of just like, you know, easy footage that just have some like lame makeup effects handle. You know what I mean? And you know, you just get a lot of footage of people going, you know, and then running, you know what I mean? It's just,
do you know that those movies, they're generally shot in Canada, and that the actors who are the extras that are the zombies, that's all they do. They're like professional zombies, and they're in every zombie movie. So every zombie movie has like the same zombies.
You know, there literally is a zombie culture, because when I did my film years ago, there literally is literature that teaches people how to connect with the zombie livelihood. It's a true thing. It's true.
Right. Yeah. Oh, Max Brooks, who wrote the Zombie Survival Guide and the brilliant novel World War Z. He said that at conventions, when people would come up to him, there's the people that are into zombies like as a fun thing, you know, like the Zombie Go Boom guys. If you've never seen Zombie Go Boom, that's pretty much what I would be doing all day, every day if I could. Just fucking over these like fake Zed heads with like battle axes and war hammers and machetes and screwdrivers and whatnot. He said that there are the people who are into it because it's like a fun hobby, and he said, and then there are those other people and they're getting ready.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to cut it short tonight because I got to go spend time with the old lady. But
it looks like it's been on for 2 hours. How's that cutting it short?
Because last time we went 4.
Oh fuck!
Oh man, my ears were killing me. My bony butt was killing me.
Yeah, I know, me too. I was like,
like seriously, let's do some plugging, man.
He has one special talent. He can build anything. After completing work on his hellish hot rod, which he lovingly calls his devil driver, Mickey finds that his life is still missing something. So he focuses his amazing talents on building Patches, a bombshell of a driving companion, to complement the look of his demonic hot rod. Oh, but Rockabilly Road Trip isn't anything but typical. Our heroes encounter chainsaw-wielding psychos in Texas, greaser aliens from outer space at Area 51, and a voodoo zombie.
There's Tor Johnson.
At a roadside stop in Louisiana are just the start of the problems our heroes run into on the road trip of a lifetime. In issue 1 of their brand new full-color series, Nicky and Patches battle a mysterious illness that is driving the women in a small Mississippi town psychotic. So come along for the cross-country love story adventure that is Rockabilly Road Trip.
Fun.
Absolutely.